G A M N.
Good afternoon, morning, night.
E.
Evening?
Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, everybody. We got something to say?
It's game on. G-A-M-E-O-N.
G-A-M-E-G-A-L-O-R-E. G-A. Yeah, man. What are we talking about?
G-A-M-I-E-O.
Yeah, I guess, depending on where you are in the world. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or good night.
Well, surely it depends more on, because once this is uploaded...
When you're listening to it.
Yeah. So, like, you can be anywhere.
Right now, if you're day 1 second 1, then it's the Monday sort of 1, but it could be a Tuesday.
If you're premiering it, I suppose.
I stopped premiering it. No, this is what I figured out, right? Premiere it, no one watches it. Put you going like in the thumbnail, owing, everyone watches it. That's all it takes. That's literally it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, why couldn't Mr. Beast have just figured that out without sacrificing all those lives?
All those lives, all those many lives. But not before we go too deep into the episode. Got to shout out those Jar Media patrons before we get just too deep, when things too heavy, weighed down by the pure amount of content that's out there. But where does that even start, bro? How do we even begin listening?
Listening?
Listing.
Oh.
The patrons. What they get. Where it goes.
There's too much now. It's too good of a deal.
It's too good of a deal that like
you're basically stealing from us.
You're pretty much stealing from us.
It's such a good deal.
This is the kind of deal that changes things.
Like how are we supposed to even survive? It's such a good deal.
Damn, maybe Mr. Beast is better than this.
I can't do this shit, man.
I can just go through the list. This episode is sponsored by the Geek Cave.
Woo!
I don't even know if they still have the ads like baked in. There's still like Podbean ads, but I don't know if they're specifically Geek Cave anymore. We should probably check on that.
Their contract might have run out.
But if you hop onto that Jar Media Patreon as a patron or a Patreon, depending on
which part of the country you're from.
Yeah, depending on how you like to say that sort of thing. You get access to the Jar Media group chat, which we get multiple suggestions from. There are a few things I'm about to bring up in a second in the housekeeping segment. But that's not all. There's the raw MP3 that goes up to Patreon ad-free. And also, that's not all. You've got Jar After Hours on Patreon. I forgot to mention this last week. I was very angry at myself when I was editing it because I didn't even mention it as a perk, even though there was one going up on that day. People... We'll talk about the new set briefly. There'll be some stuff in housekeeping about that. We got some stuff to say. But this ain't like the last time we had a new set. It's a different feeling in there.
Dude, I'm scared.
It's a different feeling. Relax.
Promise.
I promise. They're not angry.
I can't go through that
They're
again.
not angry like last time. There's no table. It doesn't look like Kind of Funny. We're good.
There's a table right there. Your foot's on the table.
That's a coffee table. Not like a dinner table where you eat your bangers and mash.
That was a good table there.
It's a lovely table. It's a table I have in my living room because it's such a nice table. I'm not getting rid of that table.
I'm right there with you.
Exactly.
I'd steal that table if I was strong enough. It's a heavy table. That's how you know it's quality.
Easy to steal.
No, not easy to steal because it's heavy.
No. It's so well made. It's so easy to disassemble. It would be that easy to steal.
Oh, okay. Just like the Patreons are stealing from us.
Well, talking about the patrons stealing from us, we got some housekeeping to go through.
Okay.
We got some comments, some queries, some... I don't even know how you describe it, that were left in the previous chunk. The previous mess that needs cleaning up, that needs house cleaning, clean housing, or whatever, you know? Bratmaster69 can get us going here. We've officially entered into a new era of Jar, and I have no idea what to call it. That had 101 likes. I don't know. 101 Dalmatian era?
that reeks. I'm gonna say surely the
Charlie era.
Yeah. Dude, I've got suspicions about this whole Charlie thing.
I did, bro. Do you remember in the last episode I said, now that I've introduced this to you, it's unlocked. You're going to start seeing it everywhere. You're going to start hearing it everywhere. And it ain't like when you get a new car and it's like, oh, I'm driving a red Mazda now. Now I see red Mazdas everywhere.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. It's different.
No, it's different. It feels like, to me...
Eldritch.
You know Bandersnatched, the
yeah, the Black Mirror.
The Black Mirror game thing.
The choices.
Yeah. And there's the guy, the eyebrows guy from Guardians of the Galaxy who's like, you need to just look. Once you've seen, you can't UNSHNEE.
UNSHNEE.
And now I can't UNSHNEE. It's fucking everywhere. Yeah. And
I told you, bro. These things, they don't just happen.
I think there's like an eldritch being called Charlie, and from you saying its name so much, you've
yeah. No, it's like
unleashed its wrath upon...
What's like a good pop culture reference of a character that goes through something like this? Like, you know, a character who's controlled by a deity or a god or a parasite or a existential creature. You know, like, you know that song Die Fantasy? Remember the music video? It's like some teenagers, they go in a swimming pool, they're taken to a eldritch world.
Dimension.
They go to the dimension. I'm thinking like dimension. Bum, 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 bum.
I'm Charlie.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Except instead of there being a giant that makes your eyes go, it's a giant Charlie, and it's like, I am Charlie. I am here. Let's make content together. That's what I'm envisioning. Just like a giant guy.
A giant king. As in the king
a huge man.
A huge Charles.
But at first you don't know that it's Charlie, and you're kind of subdued once he's like, don't worry.
It's just Charlie.
I'm Charlie.
If he said I'm just Charlie, then I'd be chill. But if he said
I'm just Charlie, and then on his badge it says Foof as well, his last name.
Yeah. Charles Foof, it says on his...
This, honestly, if you could have that experience where it's like an existential, like, godlike creature that's just been there in the background, like, just picks you up one day and it's like
you Bloodborne unlock your mind's eye.
yeah, exactly like Bloodborne, you know, where you see the eldritch beings that have been there the whole time, controlling everything, but now they're visible to you. It's like, oh my god, this whole time there have been gigantoid Charlies, you know, they're like in the ocean or something.
In the ocean? I mean, if they're in the ocean the whole time, then whatever.
Well, they're flying. They have to be. They can't be too intrusive, but they have to be like, oh, and now I've got the vision. I can see them everywhere.
Yeah. No, do you know what I'm picturing that would be scary? Is like, if everyone has like a Charlie like controlling them, like a puppet. They've got like a puppet thing. And you look up and you've got one.
Ew. Yeah, like, I'm thinking like a weird, like, have you seen Under the Skin? That horror movie. We did Scarlett Johansson.
With who?
Scarlett Johansson. It's about like an alien invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, picture like...
I forgot about
there's a scene where like someone gets like killed by an alien. Minor spoilers, except it's so abstract that this would never spoil anything. Someone gets like their skin basically like off their body, and it's like the most haunting, horrifying shot ever. But I'm thinking like when you see the Charlies, that's what all the Charlies look like, is like the loose skin of a human that's come off, and they're like just hovering above people, and you can suddenly see that, and it's like that's all the Charlies.
They are, that's Charlie. Yeah, I mean, how could you live anymore? Like, even if they don't change anything, they're just there.
They're just there. Like, everything's exactly the same, but it's like, oh, that explains it. That's
why I keep seeing and hearing Charlie.
That's what explains this weird psychosis I'm in, yeah. The Charlieosis, yeah. Charlieosis. I nearly, like, I've got to sometimes just stop things that I feel like I need to do. Like, I sat down at my PC earlier, knowing we were going to do JAR today. Should I just make a list of Charlies? Like, famous Charlies. But I stopped myself from doing it.
See, I think now's when we need to call upon the psychologist Jarling to just unpack all of that. This whole bit.
Yeah.
This whole, like,
make it make sense. Like, for the love of God, please make it make sense.
Because we're at the end of our tether right now.
Yeah. And at Nudazd also is at the end of his tether. First no window set in 8 years. Does this mark the return of crackhead Jar? I can't return if it never left, but personally, no window is good for me, because then we don't need to really anticipate the time of day as much.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out, like, the best way to light this. It's a new set. It's the second week. We're trying to figure out the angle, trying to figure out the lights. It's 10:30 p.m. right now as we record this. So we don't have the intrusive light. We're just, I don't know, we're trying to figure things out here. Please get off my back.
Jesus. Just give him a break, guys.
The albino jackal says this. I see Rico Dave. Wait 1 minute, Brian. Where he at? To which the Merkster said, taken away by woke. Yeah. You can see, if you're watching the video version on the table, there is Rico and there is Dave.
We got a cease and desist.
Where's Brian? Well, I can tell you where's Brian. There's a story behind this. Look up. Look up there, bro. What do you see? Way up there. Way up there.
I see Bone Brian. He's got a bone.
Do you see hanging Brian? Do you see what he's hanging by? He's got a noose around him. Do you see that?
Oh, no. From my angle, I thought he was on, like, a peg.
No, he ain't on no peg.
I kind of see some string now that you mention it.
Because I don't think I've ever really mentioned my love for command strips on the cast before. If I can attach it to the wall with a command strip, I will do that. Not a sponsorship. If they want to sponsor it, then please. Command strip. I've never seen a YouTube ad for command strip, but I'm saying that's my ideal.
Should we just reach out and, like, beg?
We could just, like, really pretend that we are sponsored until they contact us in anger that, like, we're not sponsoring you, and they'll be like, well, we've already done so many, like, you might as well just
pay us. Or we're gonna
pay us at this point, or we're gonna keep doing it and say, you know.
Well, we'll do the inverse.
Yeah, we're more of a gorilla tape kind of podcast, actually. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Brian.
In the noose.
I tried to attach Rico, Dave, and Brian with command strips because they're so oily and slippery, like, and kind of.
They do have like a
residue.
Yeah.
That pop vinyl residue kind of makes it
sinewy.
Difficult. You know, the adhesive can't connect to something so, like, demonic. So when I originally put all this stuff up, I put Rico, Dave, Brian up in the order and everything. But day by day, they would fall. Rico fell, Dave fell, Brian fell. I put Brian back up, I put a noose around his neck made out of string and attached him with the string. But by then it was like, I'm not going to noose them all, you know? So Brian's still up there.
Noosed.
He's noosed and attached. Dave and Rico can stay down here, you know, for now.
Yeah. I guess Rico, Dave doesn't have a neck.
Dave the Minion. Rico ain't got no neck either, so none of them.
He's got a chin though, so he's hangable. But I'm saying Dave, he's not.
Minion chin. Minion chin. Note that down.
He's.
Billy's Pet Rock says, unironically, I do watch Jar on a projector screen for the immersion. What do you think of the projector, bro?
Your projector?
I've been converted. TV? Nah. I'm all about lasers shooting projectors onto something now.
It is, like, badass.
Bro. Loading up Sekiro.
Yeah.
In 4K 60. On a screen so big it makes me just piss myself.
It makes you look like Willem Dafoe looking up.
Oh, it does. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah.
Oh, that nails it. But seeing as we're talking about this new set, and the discussion was kind of limited to the Jar After Hours last time, Normal Mantis can get us going here. Goodness me, I really like the new set. It has a little of the old set, pre-COVID era Jar with the white room and the couches, which I'm very nostalgic for, and new set with its cozy atmosphere and silly items to look at. Tickle me pink, I am happy. Well, I'm very happy that you like it.
I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised by this. Like, IRL Aura says, old boy, except he's trapped in the Jar set. I just read the wrong one, but I just thought that was funny.
Like in... Oh, right. Yeah.
Old boy Jar.
Yeah.
I was meant to read, Sweet Sparky, who said, love the new room already. Old one always felt too cramped. I could hear that. Another Borfi Kai said, only thing I miss regarding the set is there being no window, but not much you can do about that, really. And finally, Miniature Ranny. Love the new set. It's a happy medium between the classic pre-COVID set and the current Jar paradigm. Good to see Tank Dempsey up on the wall, proudly displayed where he belongs. Don't get too attached. This is supposed to be covered with a curtain once I can... Well, it's going to be a really expensive curtain, so I just haven't bought it yet, really.
Yeah, that's a big curtain. That's what?
Big curtain.
That's
Do you want,
like
me to
2
tell you how much
meters.
I've been quoted to cover this space, right, with a curtain? With a dark blue velvet curtain. About £400.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seriously?
For that surface area, yeah.
Wow. It's what, like 2.5 meters by...
It's quite a big surface area.
No, that's got to be like 4 meters by 4 meters.
It's 450 centimeters that way. So that's quite a big curtain.
Yeah.
And then the drop is...
I wasn't that far
350
off,
or
I'm
something.
kind of proud of myself. Is what?
The drop is like 350, I think, or something.
Okay, so you take the 50 from the 450 and add it to the 350. You got 4x4. I was fucking bang on.
There you go. Doesn't make it less expensive.
See, I knew I should have been a fucking builder.
Bro.
Or a
You could have built all
curtain
this.
builder, sorry.
You could have built all this.
Could have been me.
All of it, every brick.
Every curtain. Could have been me. How many curtains do you have in this house? Any? 2.
None, actually. I've got only blinds.
Yeah, I would have been useless here.
It would be my one and only curtain when this finally... when I commit to buying it.
It's 400 quid though.
That feels like...
Lots
I
of
don't know, do you do the
force,
same thing where it's like... You might spend 400 quid in a different field and that feel like...
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But the fact it's a curtain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like... I can't bite the bullet right now.
No,
I can't.
The thing that gets me, being an addict,
Oh yeah.
right? It's like
addiction messes it all up. 'Cause you'll just
brain.
whatever that addiction is, you will justify whatever you got to spend on it. No
Well,
matter
it's not even a question of justification. It's just
it's like
it's set
that's
in
being
stone.
spent. How do we work around that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, shit. I've got no food, you know.
Yeah.
But this meal deal is like £5.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I'm at the shop getting my £35 bag of tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like.
But that has to be done. So.
Well, yes, it's
you've
like
written that off
like
already.
refueling my car.
Uh-huh.
You know, you don't even think about it. It's sad and pathetic. That's my true feeling.
That's an unfair way to characterize it, I would say, considering the fact that it's a chemical that
No, that's true.
I
mean, that's the pathetic bit of it.
the fact it's a chemical that you can't control how it messes with your brain.
I mean, the pathetic is definitely the wrong word. Just sad, I think, because like every smoker will understand what I just said.
I mean, I understand it, and I've somehow never smoked a cigarette.
Yeah. But I feel like there's a different kind of understanding for.
I can understand theoretically, but not like the actual pain of like trying to stop nicotine
or any addiction. Like I'm sure, because it doesn't have to be chemical. Like a gambling addiction, you know. It's like the
psychological addiction.
The fucked up one with that is that, like, well, if I don't buy this and do spend my money here, there's a chance I'll have more money to spend on the stuff that.
Yeah.
So that's like
just mind games.
That's psychologically.
But I feel like the
really
psychological
sad.
part of addiction is kind of baked in. You can't really remove that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it's a big part of train spotting, obviously, and that speech I feel like is quite anyone who's addicted to anything will relate to it. And so, as far as the like, oh yeah, this is just like the last time. Like I'm building this into like this is the last time I do it. That's the end. Full stop.
Yeah.
But you do that like thousands of times.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it makes those words just mean.
Yeah. It's basically just cope. You're just coping to yourself. Yeah. It's what you tell yourself.
Addicts are the most cope-fueled human beings on the planet. Like, but saying that, I feel like most people are addicted to something.
I do believe that you gotta have one or two vices. That like you just gotta put your hands up and be like, that's my vice. Yeah. One or two. But that includes everything though.
Yeah, pick two awesome ones, you know?
You gotta pick the good ones though, you know?
Like, sorry, I just can't stop making delicious food.
I can't stop propagating. Bro, I can't stop doing it. I genuinely can't.
That's an awesome addiction.
I thought
that's so sick.
I thought I had it under control, but then I counted how many vines I've created. It was nearly 20.
Over the space of how long?
I mean, it's an ongoing thing.
Well, yeah, because you've got to, like, wait for growth and stuff.
Yeah. You got to propagate properly. You know what I'm saying?
Proper propagation.
But it's like, it's getting out of control because I know I've run out of pots now. That's how I know things have gotten a bit out of control. Yeah. It's like, there's normally like a rotation of pots that like things are going in. I've run out.
You're at max capacity.
I'm at max capacity.
That capacity upgrade.
But it's because I've also been like I've been on my propagation game, bro. I've got like a system now because I've got the app which can identify any plant. So I start with the app. It identifies the plant. Then I Google how do you propagate this plant.
Right.
Then I find out. Then it's like, okay, so I've just got infinite plants then. Infinite. I can do this forever.
I mean, you can, yeah.
Yeah. I work from home. I'm just walking around in a cycle, like going to all these plants anyway. I just go to every room watering the plants. It won't stop. It's begun. How like
is it gonna be like Jumanji in this house? Like, you walk in and it's
the reason I picked these just in this room that we are sat in right now. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And in the bathroom, there's another one, 10. Just on this floor, there are 10 vines growing.
The craziest thing about that is that I didn't even notice them until you were just pointing around the room, and suddenly they're just everywhere.
Yeah. And I've got 3 lined up to give away. This is like many, because it's a gift. It's an easy gift.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Bro, get into plants. I'm telling you. Don't wait as long as I did. Do it sooner. Bro, and now my algorithms are turning into it. There's this dude in like California that's like, bro, I just planted like my peppers and they're just growing. Now it's free. I've got infinite peppers for free. He's in California where the sun is showing. He cuts the top of a pineapple, just puts it in dirt and is like, look, it's just growing. Look, another pineapple's just growing. I've got infinite pineapples. Bro.
Do you think that's how like original man felt?
Just like, wait. Hold up. Infinite grapefruits
we're not
right now.
Togetherers anymore. We've upgraded.
Yes.
That must have been like the first dude to do that.
No, but then you start seeing patterns, bro. Once you figure out how plants propagate, then it's like, wait, hold up. The structure of them. You start seeing like the segments of it, like, oh, there's like a pattern going on. This type of plant has this segmented way of growing where like every segment has a potential root. That's how deep it goes, bro. And then if you cut off a segment that has a potential root and then leave it in water, then a root will grow out of the potential place. And then every single one of those is a potential full plant. Bro. All you need to know is the how. Then it begins. They're selling these plants. All of these plants I'm propagating, each one of them is sold for like 20 quid in a supermarket.
Yeah. Does that mean these plants are clones of each other? Or does it mean that plants, like a big plant,
are they clones or children?
Lots of kids? Because if they had you not propagated, they would all be attached to one plant. Would it be like a family of plants attached to one another? Or have you cloned?
It feels like more of a clone situation, but I'm not a botanist, I don't know. You know? I'm an early botanist.
Okay.
Is that what
botanist Jarling?
Is that what botany is?
Yeah.
Plants?
It's like it's what poison ivy is, right?
There you go.
What's that sound?
There's the sound of like...
Is it Billy snoring?
It might be Billy snoring. Which, I gotta end housekeeping and go into this thing. It is Billy snoring. I can hear her tuck around the corner like snoring, which creepy. No one can hear her.
It's a creepy sound.
But that reminds me, last episode we brought up something in the beginning, and I was like, please don't let me forget this. I've got to make sure you stay on this. It was an Argy thing. That I was having a conversation with you and our mother, right? We were talking about Argy. Suddenly, our mother was like, yeah, Argy was eating something, and when he was eating from his bowl, he was going, yum, 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 like while eating it.
No, it was creepier than that, because I was
Well,
there.
Explain what the you mean, because I wasn't there, and I still don't really believe.
I think she added some creative
license.
It was more perverted, because what she was saying was that it was as if he was saying yummy while eating. That's what
the impression I got
that's
was
what she
that
meant.
He was going
no, he was going
ew. It was more like a moan.
Yeah, he'd go
what was he eating?
There was an empty bowl, and he was going It sounded kind of like that. It was what
was your reaction?
It made me incredibly uncomfortable. And
little pervert.
I think I said to our mother at the time, that's really creepy. And then I got up and left.
I've never seen him do that.
He never did it before, and he's never done it since. It's freaky, man.
Bro.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, speaking of never doing it since, there are a couple of things I want to talk about before we go to mid-break here. The first actually coming from the gay goth streamer Jarling off the Jar Media group chat, okay? Where they left something cursed for me to read. If I say the name Ernest Cline, do you know who that is?
No.
The writer / creator of Ready Player One, writer of that book, right? On the subreddit Just Neckbeard Things, a poem written by this fella was posted on there. This incredible poem by Ready Player One author Ernest Cline. Read it, it's worth it. So I'm going to read this and I want to get your reaction, okay? I've noticed that there don't seem to be any porno movies that are made for guys like me. All the porn I've come across was targeted at beer-swilling, sports bar-dwelling alpha males. Men who like their women stupid and submissive. Men who can only get it up for monosyllabic cock-hungry nymphos with gargantuan breasts and a 3-word vocabulary. Adult films are populated with these collagen-injected liposuctioned women, many of whom have resorted to surgery and self-mutilation in an attempt to look the way they have been told to look. These aren't real women, they're objects. And these movies aren't erotic, they're pathetic. These vacuum-headed fuck bunnies don't turn me on. They disgust me. And I'm not... and it's not that I'm against pornography. I mean, I'm a guy, and guys need porn. Fact. Like a preacher needs pain, like a needle needs a vein, guys need porn. But I don't want to watch this misogynist, he-man, woman, hater porn. I want porno movies that are made with guys like me in mind. Guys who know that the sexiest thing in the world is a woman who's smarter than you are. You can have the whole cheerleading squad. I want the girl in the tweed skirt and the horn-rimmed glasses. Betty Finnabowski, the valedictorian. Oh yes. First I want her to copy her trig homework, and then I want to make mad passionate love to her. For hours and hours, until she reluctantly asks if we can stop, because she doesn't want to miss Battlestar Galactica.
What the
There's more, bro. Summon come, Lord, baby. That's what I call erotica. But do you ever see that kind of woman in a contemporary adult film? No. Which is why I'm going to start writing and directing geek porno. I shall be the quintessential nerd porn auteur, and the women in my porno will be the kind that drive nerds like me mad with desire. I'm talking about the girls that used to fuck up the grading curve, the girls in the Latin club with the National Honor Society, chicks with weird clothes, braces, 4 eyes, and a 4.0 GPA. Bro, this so... Brainy, articulate bookworms with Mensa cards in their purses and chips on their shoulders. My porn starlets will come in all shapes and sizes. My porn starlets will be too busy working on their PhDs to go to the gym. In my kind of porno movies, the girls wouldn't even have to get naked. They'd just take the guys down to the rec room and beat them repeatedly at chess. And then talk to them for hours about Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. All the undying social metaphors of the Alien movies. Buy stock in some hand cream companies because there is about to be a major shortage. And I'm not just talking about straight porn. Oh no. There should be films for my...
This isn't fucking real.
There should be films for my nerd brethren of all sexual orientations. Gay nerd porn flicks with titles like Dungeons and Drag Queens. This idea is a gold mine. I'm gonna make millions because this country is full of database programmers and electronic engineers. And they aren't getting the loving they so desperately need. And you can help. If you're an intelligent woman who's interested in breaking into the adult film industry, and if you can tell me the name of Luke Skywalker's home planet, then you are hired. It doesn't matter if you think you're overweight or unattractive. It doesn't matter if you don't think you're beautiful. You are beautiful, and I will make you a star.
That can't be. This is a funny prank.
No, it's real. That's a poem.
By
the writer of Ready Player One.
That's not a poem. That's a plea for porn stars.
That's like an incel's manifesto.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg directed his movie.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. This can't be real.
This is full stop the most brain dead thing I've ever read. I'm a lesser person for ever having read this. Whoever wrote this needs to be euthanized. Wow.
What? But I don't understand. Like, is this an actual plea for, like, is the guy who wrote Ready Player One starting a porn company?
It's a poem. It's an artistic expression. You know, it's taking the power of language, the English language, and then stringing words together.
And he put this on Reddit.
This is just posted because of how embarrassing it is on Just Neckbeard Things. Do you like that?
What? When did he write that? before or after the book?
I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess within the same time frame.
During.
He paused it halfway through and was like, hold up.
Inspiration time.
I just got struck by lightning.
Dude,
It's not okay to write something like that. It's not. It's so like crazy. I almost feel like it's not real. You know.
Well, but, like I've got no verification of if it is real.
Ernest Cline, poem. I'm just double checking. I mean, it's real. Yeah. Bro. No, it's real. No, it's real. Dude, it's real.
What's the context? What?
It's a poem. You know, writers write poems.
No, but when did, was it when he was...
So that, 7 years ago, there was a post, open letter to Ernest Cline's awful poetry. Nerd porn auteur. A poem by Ernest Cline. Don't know one of the movies as good as it is. You know?
He's an artist with a pen.
There's a thing with me. It's kind of a wave that's hit me recently where it's like any fear I have of expressing anything creative is like LMFAO exists.
Yeah.
Ernest Cline exists. If your fear of yourself is what's stopping you, don't let it stop you.
Yeah, because people way worse than you ain't letting it stop them.
Yeah.
And you'll never be that
They
bad.
have the opposite affliction where they're like, no, I can't hide this. Everyone's got to see this.
Surely that's got to be some sort of
Who has a film directed by Steven Spielberg that they wrote the story of? How few people are in that collection?
Was this poem out before the film?
That's a great question. I'm seeing...
Because I think it's fair to say, if it was, then it's fair to say, through Occam's razor, that Steven Spielberg agrees with the poem.
That's why he picked it. It was because of that poem.
He's like, do a background check on this guy. You know, find out what else he's done. He reads the poem. He's like, let's do it.
So 7 years ago, this one says it was written 17 years ago. So it was written 17 years ago, 7 years ago.
That's putting two numbers together, which...
That's too hard for me.
Yeah.
That's way too hard for me.
But from that, I can gather that the poem was written long before...
What's the maximum age where that would be okay, fine? 15?
Maximum...
15?
I'd say as long as he was still in the teens.
But even a 19-year-old writing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a creepy 19-year-old, but at least, you know, they've still got a one at the front of their page, you know. They might be in university, they haven't seen the full world, they've just been playing Fortnite in their room. You know?
Does that change the film or the book idea to you in any way? Or knowing that that's sort of the perspective?
I haven't used a lot of my brain matter to hold on to the memory of Ready Player One.
I feel like I've got a strong emotional experience attached to the watching of it, but not actually what the movie is.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything. I remember the Jurassic Park T-Rex being in there. I remember the Back to the Future car being in there. I remember Iron Giant. I remember Halo Spartans being in there.
Yeah.
The 343 ones.
Iron Giant, yeah. I remember the race, and the trick is to just reverse.
That's when the Jurassic Park T-Rex is there.
Yeah.
And Back to the Future.
And King Kong or something, or
that's right.
Donkey Kong, I don't know. Yeah, and it's just reverse. It's the race has been out for 6 years.
It's like the first thing you do on Mario Kart
reverse.
Wii, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
What happens if I go backwards? Irrelevant. The love interest in that movie is like, oh, I'm so ugly, I've got a big scar on my face, and she's got like a little circle or something. Right? Maybe that was portrayed differently in the book, but that weirdly coincides with that poem, being like, I don't care what you look like as long as you're kind of a dork and do well.
As long as you know what Tatooine is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's creepy.
It's like what you like, you know. But there's like a level of nerddom where it just gets to a degree where it's like you have to know how you're coming across, right? You have to know.
Yeah, I think there's something super disingenuous as well about like saying, oh, these guys don't value you in this way. I'm different. Like they just give you they just get a boner because of your tits. Mm-hmm. But I get a boner because of your brain.
Destroy me in chess. Oh, destroy me again. It's like, it's really weird, isn't it?
It's kind of more perverted in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like fetishizing nerd girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that really that whole experience just made me feel a bit not very nice.
Well, speaking of being not very nice, there's one other thing I have to bring up to you, bro.
Okay.
Kanye's Nitrus. Kanye's been like an ongoing thing. It's like how do you even describe it? Like a rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall, 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 fall.
Yeah, that's a good way. Like a roller coaster that, like, just. But
it's a roller coaster that's been going for a while.
Yeah.
But like something fundamentally, structurally is like is gone.
Yeah.
Really badly.
And the roller coaster was fun at first.
Really fun.
And then it got real tired.
Really tired and then really kind of like a tube going right into your nose, like just giving you straight nitrous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like fake the way this has come out, but Milo Yiannopoulos has leaked, I guess, the fact that Kanye West is addicted to nitrous. Heavily addicted to nitrous to a degree where, like, not like Steve-O, who was abusing it. The little pods. Like, I used to go walking with Arg into the woods and find, like, oh, clearly people have been having fun with Nos here with, like, all the canisters everywhere. And like, these little, they're in, like, cream. That's what powers the cream, is Nos canisters. That's what they're abusing. So I guess Kanye, because he's mega billionaire man, he can just be like, hey, doctor who can get access to laughing gas. Yeah. Why don't you just do it straight into my brain with this crazy... Milo leaked this picture of Kanye with this thing on his head, and he's like huffing...
And he's had canisters wheeled into his house.
Yeah, well, these like crazy group chat pictures on iMessage have been like released by Milo. With like a screenshot here. Dr. Thomas Connolly, supposedly. This needs to be a long-term goal. Get recreational nitrous legalized. Meanwhile, we mastered the delivery system with a 2-year head start. To which Milo replied, surely you are joking. Prolonged misuse of nitrous causes birth defects. Problems with D12. Your spinal cord disintegrates. Why would anyone want to introduce another drug to an already depressed, addicted, demoralized, and apathetic population of dopamine slaves? To which Kanye then replied, can I have the nitrous today? With his Golden Freddy profile picture.
Golden Freddy?
Bro, have you not seen this? It's been fucking Look, that is it. That down there is real. That's Kanye's iMessage account. He's got Golden Freddy as his picture, and he's asking for the nitrous.
That's fucking creepy.
Can I have the nitrous today? Of course.
Yeah, that's the creepy. Like,
bro, why does he have a FNAF profile picture?
But also,
why?
On iMessage, you're the one that gives people their picture. So Milo's given that to him, right?
You're right.
So Milo is the FNAF fan. Also, that's a really like sad. And why is he saying that to Milo?
They're in a group chat together for some reason. Like why they're even linked, I don't know. Why is Milo Yiannopoulos, Nick Fuentes, Kanye West, and this Nitrus doctor all in this, like...
I mean, the fact that those two are attached to Kanye in any way.
Yeah.
Like the dentist, like a celebrity dentist supplying drugs to celebrity... Duh.
I'm sure
that's
that happens constantly, yeah.
Milo and Nick Fuentes? Like, Kanye, like... Fuck that guy.
Have you listened to any of Vultures 2?
I briefly went through a few songs and it was embarrassing and terrible. Like Kanye ended with Donda.
Yeah.
You know,
like he actually died.
I think the divorce with Kim actually killed Kanye.
Yeah. Like he couldn't mentally take it anymore.
Yeah, and he's already gone through a bunch of things that he couldn't mentally take. So like the guy's done. I think it's really sad. I think he needs help.
What a horrible ending. Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Bro, like I listened to a couple songs of Vultures 1 and it was bad enough. Just not my thing. I listened to more of Vultures 2 because I was like, bro, we're really here. And going on like the subreddits and whatnot and like reading the cope. I actually thought it was pretty good. No, dude. It's like shockingly bad, that album.
Yeah. It's one of the saddest Falls from Grace.
And it's like, oh man, it's like a sickening mess because I'm also thinking about he's got multiple daughters, right?
He's got a son and a daughter.
His eldest daughter, who's all like groomed in the Kardashian mess.
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
Got like who's like a TikToker now, and it's
Northwest?
Like, yeah, Northie. She doesn't stand a chance.
And she's in a bunch of both Vultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Westy, like,
and she's already like performing on stage and whatnot. If you're like 10 years old, like, what's that gonna do to you?
Yeah, yeah.
If your mother is Kim Kardashian and your dad is Kanye West, what chance do you have? But this is it's like so absurd. It's like, how do you even joke about this? You know, it's like the South Park problem. Like, how do you even satirize or joke about something so... Milo Yiannopoulos,
Nick Fuentes,
like how do you, like, you don't even need to make a joke about it, just saying it is the joke.
Yeah, but then that makes it sad.
Yeah,
it's really just, again, sad. I guess this is the sad episode with the stuff I was saying earlier, kind of weirdly tying into this. I think the thing that did it for Kanye was going off the meds. He was diagnosed with shit, and now he blames that on... There's that clip of him saying, I'm not going to tell you the race of the doctor that diagnosed me.
The whole Alex Jones nonsense.
It separate thing. It was in an interview. And he's
Before
like,
then, was it?
But the doctor was Jewish. It's like, well,
I just collect all that into
doctor.
Yeah,
and the weird conspiracy shit aligning with the Trump support. His cycle was do something awesome, do something shit, redeem himself by doing something awesome and showing some...
We'd often use like controversy when he knew an album was coming out in order to drum up controversy around him, his name, so then in a month or whatever he'll release an album.
Well, sometimes it almost seemed more like motivation, because like the whole Taylor Swift
or like marketing.
Well, but I think early on the Taylor Swift thing, and then the clapback he got from all that stuff.
But wasn't that like George Bush doesn't care about black people era?
That was a while before the Taylor Swift stuff. So that was his first one, but I think a lot of people were like, that's kind of a, like, hell yeah.
To have said all of these things at some point is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the Taylor Swift thing was wrong, and then he released Dark Twisted Fantasy, which was almost like an apology album.
Yeah.
It was like he was self-aware. He talked about like
it's weirdly honest.
Yeah, this kind of duality of how confident he is, but how much of a shithead he is.
Yeah.
And like then his mum died, and then I guess the following thing was another Taylor Swift like in the bed in the music video for Famous, which was that's intentional controversy, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm stuck on. Is like when the Jesus is King thing happened, where it seemed like he was going straight down that sort of thing. And it changed again. Now he's back to being like gross and bounce on penis like a, you know. It's like the whole Jesus King thing was like that, right? It was like
like Donda is all censored and stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
And that album still works.
It's miles apart, Donda and Vultures, like, to me. It's so far disconnected. It might as well be a zombie or someone like.
Because the worst thing he'd done before Donda was the Donald Trump support and
the MAGA hat stuff, and
he said the slavery is a choice thing.
The slavery choice thing, yeah.
Which. Yeah, I don't know.
The TMZ stuff, yeah.
The running theory, I think, is that he is just a counterculture guy. Like he doesn't
say whatever.
He doesn't really have values. He just disagrees with whatever the consensus
a contrarian.
Is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of under the guise of like, I'm ahead of the curve. Because all
he needs to be known as just one time is that he's that dude that's ahead of the curve. And then once he knows that, and that's part of who he is, then he can just keep saying shit. And it's like you're gonna get.
And go to the Joe Rogan with him on, because if you listen to that, and that's just like a conversation with Kanye West.
And he's jerking him off hard.
Yeah, you can. The conversation doesn't really make sense.
No.
It's just vomit. You know?
Just like the stuff on Alex Jones is like so contrarian, where it's like, I've got to bring up the most evil person in history and then try and make him sound good just to be contrarian, you know? It's like, what?
And it's tired and done. And I think people have, like, including me, have now caught on. Because, I mean, my thing with Kanye started with, like, I don't really like this guy.
He's very unlikable.
And then it came around, and listening to his music, and like he's got a sense of humor and shit, and I was like, I'm won over. And then he releases an alright album and a good album, and then Jesus is King was like, so he's lost his mind. And then just fucking downhill. And I guess that's come full circle. Like, I hate the guy. And
so what are you done with like ever listening to him?
No.
Because I was playing something on shuffle the other day, and something from like Late Registration or whatever came on, and I was like, this is just undeniably really good. I mean,
a lot of his music slaps, and to me that was a different Kanye making it. A lot of who he is now is a product of like the system he's in.
Yeah.
Again,
which is why I could never listen to like Vultures or Vultures 2, because that's like recorded and made during that era that represents everything. But like if you go back to Graduation or whatever, that's like a snapshot of him from a long time ago. It's like it's not the him now.
And like, if you're listening on Spotify, it's not like you're giving him loads of money. But I don't think he's redeemable at this point.
Do you think that changes it a lot when it's someone who's passed away? Like the guilt goes? Because we were talking about this the other week with Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah. And Michael Jackson's even more complex because there's the whole like, did he? Mm-hmm. Is it as serious as that? Like, did he? Because like Michael Jackson was having sleepovers with children when he was an adult man.
The whole Netherland ranch or whatever.
Yeah. Incredibly red flag.
Very weird.
The most flag.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, did he?
I never watched the documentaries or whatever.
I don't think
Macaulay Culkin had issues with it or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know if people. I don't know what the consensus is on it. I was getting the vibe that most people thought it was kind of bad faith, like not entirely fair, but also these are people who undeniably were in the presence of Michael Jackson and make these accusations. The fact is, I guess we'll never know.
But do you think that changes it though if the person has passed away? There does seem like to be there is a disconnect to me with that, where it's like I feel like a stream of a Kanye song is kind of going to the man who is alive right now.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you play a Michael Jackson song, I guess it's going to his estate. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you buy a Picasso painting now, he was like an asshole to women or whatever. Like, I really don't know how to pass it a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think most of the time you need to just focus on the art.
You have to remove it from the artist, you mean?
It's not like... Yeah, I guess.
It's like that person in that specific mindset made a thing. Yeah. And if that thing that they made attached from themselves is good...
But it also depends on how you tie them together, because if... For me, I don't have any Michael Jackson songs saved on my Spotify because there is that thing in my head saying, like, it just
makes you...
Am I
somehow endorsing this by having it liked?
It's not about endorsement so much, it's just more about when I'm listening to this, I'm thinking about, like, this documentary, I'm thinking about the accusations against him, I'm thinking about, like, even without all that stuff, he did some weird shit. My head has gone there from listening to it.
But if the boundary is weird shit, then what pop star has not done that? If we're talking about David Bowie's, if we're talking about all these people,
I think like there's a difference between John Lennon and that other Beatle, like jerking off together.
McCartney,
Paul McCartney, like that's weird shit. That's different to assaulting.
That's not like a Me Too thing though. That's just like two dudes having some fun.
Two bros just
two bros like in the 60s or 70s.
Like it's undeniably fucking weird and like weird, like rich guy shit.
But why? Who's actually getting harmed in that scenario?
No one.
The Michael Jackson
exactly.
thing?
So like even if that does cross my mind when I'm listening to the Beatles, I'm like I don't give a shit. They were just taking.
To me, it's more damaging of how he was like a wife beater type thing.
John Lennon,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. But when it's a band, it's like, well, there were other guys in the band, and they played a big part in the music, so you don't want to discredit them. Like I don't really have any John Lennon music, but like tying morality, because we don't know everything that happened in every artist's life, in every artist's lives. So
and the less you know can actually enhance it sometimes.
Well, yeah, like when you go around a gallery in London with these old ass paintings, you're not thinking.
It's the mystery and the unknown sometimes that gives it that extra, where it's like, Yeah, seeing every one of Ice Spice's opinions on Instagram or whatever is like, maybe that does hurt it a little bit. Like,
yeah, but that's part of the music industry as well, and I mean every entertainment industry, I guess, is especially like podcasting as well. Like the boundary between the art, quote unquote, and the people behind the art is that there is no boundary. The product is the person, especially in music. Like they're not. That
goes into that conversation of like industry plants and this kind of thing. Where it's like, how much is it controlled or?
And I mean, 9 times out of 10, it kind of seems heavily. Like you don't really get fresh faces. People that aren't somehow connected to the people who are already in the industry.
That's in big entertainment fields. That's a classic.
Yeah.
If you want to be like woke, if you want to be unfortunately woken up to that, it's like a lot of your favorite directors, writers, or whatever. Look at who their parents are.
Yeah,
it genuinely is as simple as that. Yeah, actors, like
all of them.
A lot of these biggest names, it's like, yeah.
And you look at like artists.
But does that inherently diminish the thing they make, though?
No. But it's
because, like, of course, like if your parents are like really good music producers, so then you as a child born into that family is given that advantage.
Well, yeah, how are you not gonna succeed?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more just building on the fact that the idea that some of these success stories, that like the feeling you might get is like, it could be me, you know.
This is my division, right? Where like, if you're I'm not inherently against nepo babies as long as they own it in some way. They acknowledge
there's got to be some sort of honesty.
You can't be a nepo baby and at the same time be like, oh god, it was hard to get where I am.
Yeah.
Oh my god. My uncle's Steven Spielberg, but do you know how hard it had to do?
Yeah.
You know?
The thing is that they only know what they know, and they might have worked really hard to get there.
But that doesn't matter. Like, you got to know when to not say that.
Yeah, because someone else who might have got to the same level as them without any of the help would have had to have worked harder, done more.
And most people, given that full story, will give that person more respect than the other because they've had less advantages. Like that person who's like had no connection to it and like just completely through their, unfiltered skill, gotten to this position, that will be valued more than someone who's just like kind of handed it because of who they are inherently.
But the likelihood is they won't make it as high up.
I guess, yeah.
I think more so in like film, in Hollywood, than in music. I think music tends to be more like a flash in the pan. But yeah, there does tend to be a respect from like hard work put in, the acknowledgement. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Well, yeah, because there is something more admirable about someone who's worked to a position instead of being handed it.
Yeah.
Inherently, yeah.
Yeah.
How do we even get here?
Kanye? Yeah.
Because he's the example of the opposite of that. But he wasn't. His mum was like an English teacher. Like,
yeah, he was quite different from the average rapper.
But that's him, though. That's not like something that's been handed to him.
Both his parents were like successful, like university educated people, typically.
So yeah, when do you want to stop praising the advantages? Like, when does it?
When do you want to stop praising the advantages?
Because you could say it's an advantage just to have parents who are together.
Yeah. which his weren't. You know?
Yeah, I didn't even mean specifically that. I just mean like...
But I mean, that was even something almost more against Kanye coming into rap, from what I understand.
From what I understand, I watched that documentary about him, where like the industry tried to trap him more into like, no, we want you as a producer. Like, you can make the beats, your beats are fire.
Like, he was kind of corny and more
not proven as a voice.
Yeah, and less tough. His thing wasn't like, I'm like a gangster.
Like the 11-year-old like, that you showed me.
Yeah, 10-year-old.
10-year-old.
Yeah. What was his name? Lil RT? I shouldn't even be shouting him out because I think it's... I was reading his Wikipedia. And... was it his Wikipedia or it was something online? And it was like... Conservatives are really against him being in rap music. But they think...
Huh?
Conservatives think his lyrics are way too... like extreme for a 10-year-old. It's like, what do you mean conservatives? Like,
anyway,
I feel like it's not just a conservative thing to be saying that like a 10-year-old talking about getting his dick sucked and shooting dudes with a Glock is kind of fucked up.
Don't know how you can really package that as a good thing.
Yeah.
TBH.
Yeah, the sexualization and murder coming from a 10-year-old. That's fucking weird.
How did you find it? Was it on YouTube or something?
Yeah, I kept getting his song in YouTube Shorts, and I was like, what the fuck is this attack on my ears? And I'm pretty sure he's been in a stream with Kai Cenat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's made
it's just like it's too young to get that amount of attention. It's just too much.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can expect to be balanced in any way. Because you just know that like there's some producer, there's someone who is like profiting off this.
Yeah. Yeah, and like 10 years old, man. I think I was still watching my Superman VHS tape at 10 years old. Like,
so I was 10 in 2004. So 9/11 was 3 years fresh. We didn't really. I guess it was still like dial-up garbage. There was no social media. If I wanted to be a little rapper, it would be impossible.
Yeah.
It would be literally impossible.
Is Lil RT a Nepo baby? Is the question.
I don't know. Who's making this stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know. Because the Irish kiddies... that's fire.
Yeah.
I don't know who made that, but like, that's fire.
I'm pretty sure like the Irish government made it or something. It's something like that.
Is it the lyrical thing that like doesn't bother you about that one though?
Yeah, it's the genre doesn't annoy me. You know,
and it's fire and the production.
I mean, it's also the lyrics of this Lil RT song, awful,
gross. Yeah,
but like it's just the same like 3 sentences, slightly rejigged on repeat for 3.5 minutes. Yeah. It's a terrible, terrible song. So, I mean, he's got an early start, so maybe his pen skills will improve over the next...
Yeah. Or is this just like another one of those... You remember the woman who did, when on TikTok, it was like a big, like... Oh man, what did they even say? Yummy, yes, yes. You know, all that shit. Oh god, yeah. You know? And then she like released a song and stuff. Yeah. But like, where's that now?
Yeah.
Is it just like, that's just whoop, like a blip? Just for a few seconds it exists.
It's something
this hyper niche gimmick. Like, here we go. Here it is for 1 hour. Now it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something gross has happened with music where it's not seen as an art form. I saw a really sad clout chasing, like,
yeah,
people want to be what a musician is without being a musician.
Yeah,
it's really peculiar.
You want to be a pop star without actually like making anything.
Yeah, or even liking music. You're not doing it because you're like, wow, I heard this song.
Only the end goal matters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no, I want to be the person that everyone looks at.
Instead of it being like a natural result of like just following this thing you love. It's like, no, I need the end result now.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of it.
I think it ties back into the product being the person.
Yeah.
So that people don't want the art, they want to they want the person. They want to be the person.
It's kind of how like reality TV is like pointless now.
Yeah.
It's genuinely pointless.
Yeah.
Because you can get that level of drama from real people on TikTok being crazy. On Facebook being crazy.
Yeah.
On YouTube being crazy.
Yeah. We're all in the reality TV show now.
Yeah, because all that's so like produced and like silky, you know? Yeah.
And fake.
And fake.
I mean, you know, and that's why we just can't say anything anymore, because the woke are just...
Exactly. They're coming for the humour.
Yeah.
I can't say slurs that I want to say anymore, and that's a problem.
And they're shooting our ears off every time we say a funny joke targeted at a minority. Like, we're two white guys and we can't even belittle minorities anymore. Like, what?
I know. What's even
what
the
do you
point?
expect us to do?
There's like no humour left.
Yeah,
you know.
That's all we got.
If you take that from us, what's left?
Yeah, we're just like worms. Put the worm video up.
Which you didn't mention here. Have a worm video.
Yeah.
Look at these worms.
Look at the worms.
Look at the worms in my compost. Look at the way they've congealed into these weird bowls.
The knotted worms. I've got to pee out of my worm.
You got to pee out your worm. But I was gonna say, we've gone a good amount of time anyway without a mid break. I think next week we just do 2 question halves. Yeah. Because we've just gone.
That's quite impressive.
Yeah, it's just a nice chunk, like a Joe Rogan extravaganza.
Yeah, well, we need to do like 3.5 more hours to get there.
But you know,
and I gotta pee too bad. How the hell does he not pee?
Sometimes he does, to be fair.
Okay, I wouldn't know. Fuck the guy.
But then Jamie's just like,
Joe, pee in me.
Well, pee in me.
Pee in me.